So whether or not her degree is real is not the actual conversation. And I'll be honest with you, I went back and forth on whether I wanted to be just another voice in what's happening with Dr. Cheyenne Bryant, the back and forth that's happening, the no, you lying about this, though this was, you said this in a shady way, this doesn't line up, it's not making sense. Like that's what I'm hearing. Like that's the chatter, that's the noise. And it's not to say that those things aren't valid or those things aren't true. But that's not, to me, the conversation that makes sense for all of us, right? What can we glean from it around our discernment? What can we make of it that we can take away as just, folks living our lives? And so I was like, okay, I'll be another voice in the chatter and share my opinions and my perspective. So the conversation to me is about trust and integrity, point blank in the period. Everything that is happening around her talking on the tours, and a lot of us have seen the clips. I've seen the clips because they keep popping up around the talks and the tours, and how maybe she's skirting the answers that people want to hear. Like people just want to hear truthful answers no matter what your truth is. I believe that. People be like, people will hate it or love it, but they want to hate it or love it based on something that they feel is honestly coming from you. For example, okay, for example, y'all don't come for me like she didn't say that, but like if it's that you finished everything in your degree except for your dissertation, just say like I'm everything but dissertation, but I did all of this coursework, I laid the groundwork for all of these things, so I call myself a doctor. Now people who did their dissertation probably will come for you, but stand on the fact that your truth, the truth is that you did all the coursework except the dissertation. Or if it's that, look, I didn't really complete much of that, but I gave myself an honorary title. And I don't feel like that I have to explain that to anyone because I, if we call somebody Dr. Love, we know they're not Dr. Love. It's a nickname, it's an honorary title. That's what I did for myself. And I make no apologies about that. Okay, that's if that's the truth that you're standing on, then we have something tangible. I think the problem is you can't get to the truth. What's coming out of your mouth doesn't feel like the truth to me. You know what I mean? Everybody would be like, "Oh, you don't know her truth." No, nobody knows anything. Nobody knows. We're just dealing with what she's saying and also what she's not saying. And so it's about the truth and it's about the integrity. When I saw the debate about, but what if her advice is great and it's helping people? Like, so what's the problem? This is the problem. Character is the problem. Character based on trustworthiness is the problem. Because even if you're not a clinician who has a board that you answer to for responsibility for your clients or your patients, you just have a responsibility as a human being who wanted to help people to be trustworthy, to be forthright, to be honest. Point blank in the period. So even if you're giving advice that someone's like, this is great advice, this really helped me, that's great. Take that advice, run with it, utilize it in your life, and it's something that helped you. If even if you feel like her advice isn't so great and it isn't so helpful, I don't even think that that is the conversation. The conversation is not whether the advice that she was giving is good or bad or helpful or not helpful. It's the fact that it's coming from a source that does not feel trustworthy. And integrity is something that we have to all deal with when no one is watching, right? And if we get caught in a mistake, if you get caught in the fraudulent situation, then you're coming to that space with some honesty and some truth, and you're standing 10 toes down on that truth. And then people are going to have their opinions anyway because people have their opinions. But what bugged me was the character piece. What bugged me was the integrity piece. This is the same thing that bugged me when Jackson was, if y'all know a few years ago, when that kind of issue came to light in my industry, dealing with relationships, talking a certain way about relationships and his own relationship, only to find out something else. Then you lose trust. I tell my daughter this, and I live by this, but this is something that I hope she hears mommy in her head when she gets grown and like I'm not going to be there, is that I hope she remembers me saying to her that trust is fragile. Trust, we build that up. And it doesn't take much to break it down. But then it takes a lot more once it's broken down to build it up. There's a fragility in trust. And we build or break trust every day with the people that we engage with our spouses, with our children, with our friends, with our family members, by the actions that we take or don't take. If you are the person who says you're going to do something and you want to do it, but you don't have the bandwidth and constantly the receipts are showing that you're not showing up, you become unreliable. You're an unreliable friend or you're an unreliable spouse. That has a foundation of trust. And when I think about me building my business as a marriage coach, the number one thing is trust. When somebody comes to me for the first time and we have that initial conversation, which I love, by the way, because it gives me a chance to get to know somebody new, and we're just having a real conversation, and that conversation is, hey, can we trust each other? Is this a good fit? Like, can they trust me to move them through, to guide them, and to support them through what's happening in their marriage? Can I trust them to show up to our calls and be on time and communicate when something, when they're not going to be on time, or they're not going to be, or they're going to be late for a call? Can I trust that they're coachable and that when they leave a call, that they're going to actually put in effort and action in their own home and in their own, cuz I'm not there. I'm not in your marriage, right? That's the work right there. Yes, I can jump in with accountability, with all of that, and I'm going to support you. And if you're faltering, I'm going to help you get back on track. You're not doing it alone. And yet you are also in your own home doing the work. That's a trust relationship, first and foremost. And one of the things that I personally was really intentional about when I started getting online, like 10 years ago, online, is that I'm like, I'm not, my relationship isn't on a pedestal. The difference between me and somebody else is not some magical perfection, wand. Like, I have a perfect relationship. Because what is that? It was, I have certain tools, I have certain techniques and strategies, I have a certain foundational principles that I live by and that I've worked through in my own relationship with myself and how I'm showing up and communicating, and also within my marriage. That's the difference. It's not like, "Hey, put me on some perfect pedestal and make sure you're like me." Like, that's not even sustainable. And so when you put yourself on that pedestal, you are leaning towards performance. When you put yourself on the pedestal, or when others put you on the pedestal and you confirm that pedestal, you are really setting yourself up for performance. And the performance is not sustainable. At some point, you get tired. At some point, you get fed up. At some point, you just can't do it anymore. At some point, things are going to start to unravel. And unfortunately, for Dr. Bryant Cheyenne, in this season, it feels like things are starting to unravel, and it's unraveling to me not because she can or like the can or cannot prove the thing, but even if, like, the conversation that she's having at the end of the day, that underbelly is like, oh, can I trust this person? Like, the next time something comes out of your mouth, can I trust you? Should I even be taking your advice, even if it is solid? People will question. That's the hard part. Like, when the fragility of the trust that's broken, that is it's bumped up against and it starts to crumble. When you are building it back up, it takes longer because now you're questioning. Like, I'm questioning if I should rock with you. I'm questioning if I should listen to you. I'm questioning if what you're saying even makes sense, when before I would have just taken it because I did trust you. So, what I hope that she is able to rebuild at some point, if this even takes a hit, is I hope she's able to build the trust back by being honest with herself about her own sense of integrity in this situation. Not saying that she doesn't have integrity in any, I don't know her. But in this situation, it is not coming off as if you are dealing in integrity, because you're just not standing on whatever it is. And that is such an important thing. Like I said, I say, tell my child this. I live by this in life and in my business and in relationship. When I when I mention trust in a relationship, people's mind go a very specific way. I feel like you already know. I feel like you know what I'm talking about. You can put it down in the comments. before I say it. I'm giving you a minute by saying this to give you a chance to just write it in first to be like, to get that "That's right feeling." But when I mention trust in a relationship, people automatically go to cheating or some kind of betrayal of trust that is big. Like, oh, you had a separate bank account that I didn't know about. Oh, you racked up this credit card to the max and didn't tell me, and now our credit is jacked up. Oh, you hung out with an ex and didn't tell me. Like, they're big things. But the reality is, and I think we know this somewhere inside, is that trust is built or broken in our everyday decisions and how we communicate with each other and engage with each other. Like, can I rely on you to be there for me? Can I rely on you not to dismiss my feelings when I tell you something that you don't agree with? Or I tell you something that, like, hey, this hit me a certain way. This was a big deal to me, but it's not a big deal to you. Like, can I? That's a video in and of itself, child. But can I trust you in that moment? Can I rely on you? Every time we engage in conflict, if somebody goes beyond a certain boundary that feels safe and comfortable, beyond that emotional boundary of safety, you start to break down and chip away at the trust. And then though then you get situations where you feel like I can't talk to this person. Like, this is the my person, but I'm having difficulty on how to push this conversation and how to talk to them. That's all trust. All of that is building trust, and all the decisions breaking trust. How well we're connecting with each other, building trust, breaking trust. I hope with all the chatter and all the noise, it's going to die down soon enough when it comes to this situation with Dr. Bryant, is and I hope that we take away discernment in our relationships around how we are moving in trust, because we want people to trust us. We want to trust people, but we also have to be trustworthy. We have to be honest about our sense of integrity. What decisions are we making when no one's watching, when maybe in that moment no one can hold us accountable? What are we doing? How are we building or breaking our character? And we might not be in the public eye. I mean, I'm on social media, but I mean, in my everyday life, I'm in my everyday life, the decisions and the choices that I make, that we make. And I hope that that's what we take from it. Like, that's what I'm sitting with from it is, all right, check in with yourself, girl. What are you moving in integrity in the way that you want to? Are you being true to your character? Are you, yes, you want to trust and be trusted. Are you trustworthy? Those are questions I ask myself. Those are the questions I hope that we ask ourselves in the midst of all this chaos. So that's what I got for you. If you are in a space, I'll share in your relationship where you feel like you're questioning the trust. There's some reliability issues. It's not feeling as comfortable as you want it to feel. You're not feeling as connected as you want to feel. Then I encourage you to check out the marriage reset bundle and start building those communication and connection building blocks that actually make the difference between I can't even talk to you to I can't wait to talk to you, right? So you check that out. And that's what I got for you today. Thank you for hanging with me. Thank you for having this conversation. Many of you may be tired of the conversation by now, so you hung out with me and you've gotten this far in the video. So I definitely appreciate that and appreciate you. I'm Imani Aisha. I make videos to remind us and encourage us to stay connected to yourself, to your spouse, and to creating a life that feels good to you, because we only get the one. And I'll see you in the next video.